to Maternity Leave Matters Monday. My name is Jade, and what's your name?
Dolly Mullen.
Do you know that we are the only developed country that doesn't guarantee maternity leave?
No, I did not know that we were the only developed country. It does not surprise me. No, that doesn't surprise me, actually.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, to say it's a shame is an understatement.
1 in 4 mothers get paid maternity leave in America,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest kind of rely on something called FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not maternity leave. A lot of people think we do have maternity leave in America because of it, but it's just a loophole job protection law. So it's 12 weeks unpaid leave.
12 weeks.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's just the newborn stage, 3 months. So it's if you're a federal worker, if you work at a place for 12 months or more, or if you work at a place with 50 plus employees. That means part-time workers, people that have worked less than a year, freelancers don't get maternity leave.
And the women at the bottom, very often, and I pay a lot of attention to those who don't have much of a political voice, are often the ones who are stuck in, they're just stuck. And they also have the health issues that are problematic, and which really would require maternity leave, but not being paid in any case. And you're telling me 25%, one in four in this country that
Yep.
are the only ones who are paid?
Yeah, and a lot of people, I post online, they're like, well, you should work at a better job, but it's like, no,
These aren't.
every woman should have time off to heal and bond with their babies.
Well, that's true, and to say, and I don't want to castigate people who don't know any better or such, but what we should do and what is possible. I mean, you can look at the wage differences and all of that women deal with, and to say that, well, they should have made a better choice. These aren't options for most women. They just aren't. I'm imagining that the 1 in 4 are professional women, very well educated women, in those kinds of circumstances. Because if you are an entrepreneur and you're doing very well, then this is much less of an issue. Well, it's less of an issue, not let me say much less of an issue. Right now, we are in a situation where you're talking about needing maternity leave, paid maternity leave. My gosh. Paid maternity leave actually sounds as if the country cares about the new ones coming into the country, and so you might assume the opposite if we're not paying for maternity leave.
Exactly. It's people view it in America as a personal responsibility, but having children and raising the next generation benefits us all. And it benefits us all if mothers and babies aren't separated and they can really focus on their bond. And we're actually harming babies by separating them from their mothers because they need to form a secure attachment. And when they don't form a secure attachment, it leads to issues later in life like anxiety, depression, social disconnection.
Mm-hmm. That's true, and we've studied that. We know that that's the case. Um, so we don't need to argue that a lot. It's similar to saying in some ways, when you're going to take money from schools. Well, people are responsible for educating their own children now, and we all know that that's really a ridiculous assumption to make. And I would say the same thing about having babies. I've had my share, probably somebody else's too, of babies,
Yeah.
and that bond is very important. I was fortunate to work in situations, just that, the places where I was, a university professor and such, and I had these babies at times when I could spend the time with them also. And single women really, really would struggle with this being the case, because if they don't have anyone at home, a father or someone who is helping them take care of the house and those kinds of things, they suffer even more with that.
Did you have maternity leave yourself?
Not my first. I had maternity leave here with him. I had one child in Nigeria, and
Do you know their maternity leave policies there by any chance?
I do not.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
don't think that they have one. But what we had access to was a bunch of nannies. I had a nanny when I was pregnant. In a lot of ways, the culture took took up that. In fact, I'd have to say to her, Margaret, I need to, hold the baby now. I need to
Yeah.
feed. I need to feed the child now. He needs to eat, and the such and so. And I'm with him, and she'd say, "Okay, madam," but and so the culture in that country helped a lot with that being the case. Which in ways we don't have that option here. Hiring a nanny to stay with you while you're pregnant and take care of the children.
That's amazing. So you had more community there, it sounds like.
I did. When I was in graduate school, and I was fortunate just because I had the baby during the semester break, and so I could be.
That's amazing.
At home,
So you
yeah.
were in school while you were pregnant? Yeah, that must have been tough.
Twice, but anyway, yes. We worked at UNCA
Oh, okay.
when my son here was born, and so he's here. Do you remember if I have? Okay. I don't remember, actually. I think UNCA did have something, actually. I think they did.
Yeah, I would assume so because it's federal level, so you probably did get FMLA. Yeah, so there are some states that have stepped up in their state-run programs. That's California, Oregon, Washington, just a handful. Do you think that all states should fund maternity leave? That it should be allocated through payroll taxes at work, or do you think that it should be a national policy?
Well, I lean always, I bend towards national policies. That's just what I prefer.
That's what most everybody says.
That's just what I prefer. Having lived in some different states and such, the national policy something works. It will vary anyway on how it's implemented from state to state, but the national policy makes it just much more a statement of commitment. Know how it should be funded, actually. I didn't.
Yeah, so I'll tell you. So Germany has 3 years of maternity leave because
3 years.
they understand that it takes 3 years for the brain to 90% develop. So they really prioritize the mother-baby toddler bond. And then Canada has 18 months. And a lot of other countries also have parental leave, so both of them can take off. But it's allocated through payroll taxes. People think it's this big tax, but it's really not. It's the employer and the employee put in 1 to 2%, and that's how they fund parental leave.
That's interesting. I didn't know that they were that long, that extensive. But that's good.